Hello YouTube. Today I'm back here in the field in the southeast corner of my farm doing one of my favorite jobs, picking up rocks. Today I've got my truck here and I'm driving back and forth along the hillside here, picking up rocks. I've got about 4 acres left to cut here of clover, but I would have liked to have gotten that cut the other day, but the knives on my Discbine were getting so beat up that it wouldn't cut anymore. So I'll have to cut that the next time we get a few dry days strung together. And I was back here this spring and picked some rock with a 4-wheeler and the trailer, and today I've got the truck because it's supposed to rain starting almost any time now. So whenever it starts raining, I'll just turn on the windshield wipers and go home. Yeah, unfortunately, when I seeded this down last year, the seeding turned out real good, but when I came up here to seed this down, it was right after I got home from my hip replacement surgery, and I just physically could not pick rock at that time. So I'm paying the price for it now. So I didn't get them all this spring. I'm not getting them all now, but hopefully I'm reducing the population a little bit. Okay, it's about 8 o'clock the next morning, and I did get rained out yesterday. Had a couple showers come through and got about 1/4 inch of rain. Yesterday made 6 days in a row we've had rain here now. Not necessarily all day rain, but we've had the last few days we've had about 1/4 inch of rain showers come through in the afternoon. But there's no rain in the forecast today, but after today there's some chance of rain forecast for the next 6 days in a row. So haying and cultivating corn is kind of ground to a halt. I'm just out cruising around on the 450 this morning, checking out the cornfields. This doesn't look too bad. It could stand to be cultivated, but of course it's not going to be. And again, here's another little cornfield looking pretty good. Again, needs to be cultivated, but of course with all the rain I haven't been able to cultivate it for the last week to 10 days, and it doesn't look like it's going to be dry enough to cultivate the next few days. So I suspect this is probably, by the time it dries off enough to cultivate it, it may be too tall. So we'll see. If it goes ahead and canopies like it is, well, we'll accept that. And also we'll take a look at the oats this morning. My oats turned out pretty poorly. I planted this in mid-April, and after it came up, I got a couple of hard freezes, and that really kicked its butt. You can see in here that it's thin, it's spotty, and it's kind of typical. You can see that other field over there is kind of the same way. If I wait for this stuff to get ripe enough to combine, it's going to be all weeds. The weeds are going to come up through this. So I am going to cut this all off and round bale it, feed for the cows. It headed out last week, so it should be cut and baled right now, but of course because of the weather forecast it won't. I'll just have to hang loose on this and that last 4 acres of clover until Mother Nature can string a few dry days together. Like I said yesterday, the knives on my Discbine got pretty beat up when I was cutting this. So I've probably cut about 21, 22, 23 acres of new seeding clover. There's another 4 acres to go. But anyway, this morning I want to be ready whenever it dries up enough to cut the rest of the hay. So I've got some new knives to put on my Discbine. And as long as I'm messing with it, I'm going to change the oil in the cutter bar. I've had it running for about 15 minutes, and now I just ran it up on a block here on this side because the drain is on the other side of the cutter bar. So I'm going to pull the drain, let it drain out while I change the knives. This is a Case IH 8309. I've had this, so let's see, I bought this in 2012, so as far as things on my farm go, this is a relatively recent purchase. My understanding is this is actually built by Heston. That's just what I've read anyway. So it's done a pretty good job for me the last few years while I've had it. It's, I believe this was built sometime in the early to mid 1990s. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the drain plug on the cutter bar on this thing and start changing knives. All right, I've got the oil draining out of this thing. And as you can see, this is why I had trouble cutting the other day and had to quit out in the field. Now, I've usually had pretty good luck taking the knives, changing knives on this thing without taking the turtles off. Usually I can just pry up a little bit on this and work the nuts and knives out right there. So we'll see how this goes. I do already have one. I've done one already here. Well, let's see how this goes. And yes, I do have the safety stops in place on the cylinders on this thing because I figure getting squished would probably ruin my entire day. So let's get this over there. Get this thing worked out. Pry up on this thing just a little bit. And I should be able to get this out. Just like that. And let's see if we can get the new one. Clean this off a little bit. Get the new one in place under there. Pry up just a tad. Just about in place. See if I can grab it with the bolt here and pull up on it. There we go. Now I'll just put the screwdriver underneath it there to hold it up. Put my cup back on. There we go. Tighten everything back up. Now we repeat the procedure 11 times. Okay, we got the new knives all installed. And right now I think I need to go over to the house and sit down for a while, maybe have a little lunch. Then I'll come back out here, put the plug back in, and fill the cutter bar with grease. So this takes 80W90 gear lube. And the book says to put 1 3/4 quarts in it, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it also says in big letters there, do not overfill. So I usually just put just a tad under 2 quarts in it, and it seems happy. All right, we're all back together again, ready to go whenever the weather decides to cooperate. So I think I'm going to park this, and then I will probably jump on the four-wheeler and head up on the hill and pick some more rocks. But I won't bore you with that. You'll just have to imagine it. So until next time, everyone stay safe out there, and we'll see you later.